Okay, I'm going to read you another story called Snoopy the Sheep by Hilga Moser, illustrated by Nadia Gora. Be content with such things as ye have. Hebrews 13:5. Snoopy was not happy with her new home. Not at first. Snoopy had come to live among the rolling hills of Wisconsin in a winding valley where breezes whisper through wild pink roses and meadowlarks sing all day to a little farm called Pleasant Valley Farm. Farmer Don and Mrs. Dora lived in the little white house that sat between two tall oak trees. In the big red hip roof barn lived Chester the rooster, Danny the workhorse, Shadow the barn cat, and many other animals. But the one I want to tell you about today is Snoopy. Snoopy was a large, beautiful Suffolk ewe. Her wool was spotless white and very soft. Her face, ears, and dainty hoofs were a glossy black, and her large, bright eyes were framed with long black lashes. Snoopy stood out from the other sheep on the farm because of all the others were pure white, Corriedales and Columbias. Snoopy was an attractive-looking sheep, but she was not happy and content. Snoopy's old home had been an overgrown backyard behind an old brick house. There Snoopy had been the only sheep. The fences had been old barbed wire strands that snagged and swayed. Snoopy had gone where she pleased. She had eaten what she pleased. She had been petted and loved by a little girl who spent hours grooming Snoopy's wool and tying ribbons around her neck.
Fun.
Snoopy's new home on the farm was a cozy sheepfold bedded with deep, clean straw, but she had to share it with a flock of noisy, pushing ewes. Snoopy did not want to live with the sheep. A high fence made of tight-woven wire protected the sheep from hungry coyotes, but Snoopy did not like this fence that kept her in. She was used to a fence that she could roll under or crawl through. Every morning, Farmer Don brought the sheep buckets of ground corn and delicious protein pellets. Every day, the sheep grazed in a sunny pasture full of rich grass mingled with cheerful flowers. But Snoopy was not content with just corn or grass. She had enjoyed lilacs, tomatoes, apples, and fresh cut sweet corn at her old home. Tubby, the little black border collie with a spotted nose, herded the sheep to pasture each day and kept them all together. King, the big white sheepdog, protected the sheep at night. But Snoopy did not like dogs. She did not like to be told where to go and when to go. Farmer Don was a kind and caring farmer. He often patted Snoopy's nose or rubbed her black ears when he fed the sheep. But he did not spend hours playing with her or tying ribbons around her neck. Snoopy missed all the attention. Snoopy was not content at Pleasant Valley Farm. She began to search for things to make her happy. She found that the latches on most gates and doors could be pushed or pulled open, so Snoopy would make a mess in a hurry. She found every loose or weak spot in the fence to crawl through. Farmer Don was never sure where he would find her. She found the granary and gorged herself in grain meant for Dolly the milk cow and oats for Danny the workhorse. Snoopy became fatter than any healthy sheep should be. She found the garden and sampled tomatoes, beans, and carrot tops. She found Mrs. Dora's flower beds and ate all the pink petunias. But Snoopy was still not happy. And now Farmer Don was exasperated. He had spent all morning fixing the pasture fence, but Snoopy was out again. Mrs. Dora was looking in the paper for the next sheep sale. She had spent all morning trying to replant petunias and rescue a nibbled rosebush. And where was Snoopy? She was in the granary again. She was eating far more than she should. When Tobby's spotted nose appeared inside the granary door, Snoopy stamped her black hooves. She lowered her head and bellowed. But Tubby knew what to do with a silly, stubborn sheep. Mrs. Dora opened the gate, and Snoopy was soon back with the rest of the flock on the sunny hillside. The meadowlarks and the bobolinks sang. The creek bubbled and laughed. All the other sheep contentedly grazed the fresh green grass, all except Snoopy. Snoopy turned away from the other sheep and sulked. She did not want to eat grass. She would find something better. Above the sheep pasture was a steep wooded ridge. Wild blackberries grew along the edge of the shady trees. Snoopy loved berries. They tasted much better than grass. Snoopy slowly began to climb her way farther and farther from the contented flock and closer to the dark woods. But even the berries did not make Snoopy happy. Her belly was too heavy and too full from all the grain she had eaten. Snoopy lay down on the steep slope to rest. Here she would be far from fences, farmers, sheep, and dogs. She would be free and alone at last. But Snoopy was still not happy. The sun slowly slid down behind the hills. The shadows in the trees grew darker and longer. The wind in the treetops whispered and sighed. Then far up on the wooded ridge came the mournful call of a coyote and the answering cry of its mate. Their howls and yaps echoed down the valley. Snoopy did not want to be alone now. She tried to bounce to her feet, but her heavy stomach and the downward slope made her roll, kicking and struggling under her wide, plump back. Try as she might, she could not roll to either side to stand up. Snoopy was in trouble, big trouble. When a sheep rolls over on her back, she can't get up unless someone helps her. Her stomach stops working and begins to swell. If no one found her, Snoopy would die. Snoopy could not struggle for long. She could not lie still and wait and wait and wait. The sun was gone now. Only a glow of pink in the western clouds told where it had disappeared. Again, the coyotes' voices swung down the valley, louder and nearer. A twig snapped. Snoopy trembled. Snoopy could hear something coming closer and closer. She could hear it sniffing. And then Tubby was there, barking and jumping in circles around her. Farmer Don was not far behind. Grabbing her legs, he rolled Snoopy over and pushed her up on her side. Tubby licked Snoopy's nose. Snoopy was happy to see Tubby too. The pair of coyotes sent a chilling chorus over the treetops, but Snoopy was safe and happy between Farmer Don and Tubby. When they reached the welcome light of the shelter of the sheepfold, Snoopy was content to rest in the straw with all the other sheep. From then on, Snoopy began to find things that made her happy. She found that Farmer Don cared for her. She found that Tubby protected her. She found she liked grass and grazing with the other sheep. And best of all, she found she liked Pleasant Valley Farm. Snoopy had found happiness in being content. The end.